Hello, and welcome to On the Couch. I'm Emily Render.
And I'm Tom Viola. Joining us this week, we have Nick Klein, president and assistant coach, Joel Gupta, the high-scoring competitor, and Tim Estachio, an assistant coach, all from Rowan Archery Club. Hey guys, how you doing today?
Pretty good.
Good to hear, good to hear. So I guess my first question is, what got you guys inspired or into archery? How'd you guys get into it?
Tim, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I started shooting with the Cub Scouts way back in like 3rd grade, something around there, and I've been pretty much shooting ever since. Not any different type of bow, anything.
Yeah. Okay.
I randomly ended up at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair and was just shooting kind of as a side game. Realized, this is abnormally easy for what I expected.
Wow.
So I found out Rowan had a team, and I bought $200 worth of equipment and showed up to practice.
Wow.
It's a good way to make sure you show up.
Commitment.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow.
Dedication.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm actually the president of the Rowan paintball team, and I saw archery and I like shooting, so I figured, what the heck, let's give it a shot.
Right.
Wow, that's great.
That's awesome.
And now, what season is archery particularly? And is there an off-season training that you guys do?
So there's 2 seasons. The late winter, early spring is the indoor season, which actually is ending right now. And then the late spring, early summer is outdoor and 3D season. The difference being indoor is obviously indoors, but you shoot at 20 yards versus outdoor, which is at 70 meters. So it's a much, much larger distance.
Yeah, wow, that sounds really difficult.
Yeah, definitely. So what kinds of competitions do you guys do, and how well does the club do in those competitions? Like, what's the best you guys done?
Joel is consistently our best shooter because he practices way more than the rest of us. But I think this semester we participated in about 5 competitions. Wow. And while we have a club roster, it's much bigger. We have a competition team that I think is about 7 members right now.
Okay.
And on average, we score pretty well, at least on par with other colleges who are around the area or slightly better.
Okay.
But Joel definitely shoots the best. We actually just shot the indoor national tournament in Virginia this past weekend.
Wow. That's great.
And where exactly did you finish?
For that venue, I finished in 3rd place.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
For
Congrats.
Nationwide, I took 11th.
Wow, that's so
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Must be the paintballing correlation.
Yeah,
with
there
it.
you go.
And then, in Tim's division, I believe.
I shoot a slightly different style of bow. I shoot what's referred to as bare bow, which is literally just the stock bow. So at nationals, I took 1st in the region for bare bow.
Wow, congrats.
That's amazing. Wow.
And then nationwide, I think I'm 16th. Last time I
great.
That's
checked.
still really good.
That's
wow, that's
great,
amazing.
yeah.
I did not rank nearly so well.
That's okay. Also, for people who don't know, can you guys explain the point system for
You want to cover that?
Sure. So a typical indoor competition is 60 shots for a score, and each shot has a maximum point value of 10 points. So you have a maximum possible score of 600. The points can be anything from 1 through 10, and if you get a miss, it counts as 0. So a perfect score being 600 has actually never been shot. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Get the most points and you win.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy.
Speaking of that, so what are some of the requirements to get into the archery club? Do you have to have a certain level, certain skill set, level of archery, or can anyone just join the club?
Anyone can join. We have a prof link that people join through.
Okay.
And then we can get them signed up to one of our practices. We have 3 practices a week. Most members only come to 1. And if you know nothing about it, you even know what a bow and arrow looks like, we'll teach you how to do it, we'll teach you how to set it up, and we can get everyone started. I think with the exception of maybe 5 people on our entire roster, which is around 50-something people, nobody really knows how to shoot when they come to practice, or if they do, they haven't shot in years. So we tend to train a lot of new people, which I think is part of the fun, really.
Being that you have new people come in and out, do you guys does the club have equipment that they can borrow, or does everyone have to come prepared like with their own equipment?
We have equipment that we let people use if they don't own their own.
Okay.
And that covers everything from quivers to the bow itself, arrows, all the safety equipment. I mean, it's pretty basic. For the majority of them, we have them shooting bare bow. So there's no fancy bells and whistles to make them distracted.
Yeah, kind of like a basic start kind of thing. That's cool.
Absolutely. And I guess speaking of starting out, especially for new people coming in, what's some advice that you would give to someone who wants to get into archery, or someone who's a little rusty and wants to get back into it? About the sport, about maybe techniques that you guys do when you, like for you guys, when you do the high score, like what are some things that you do?
I think that's something that people can do if you're just getting back into the sport, or if you're just starting out, is to just keep shooting.
Yeah.
Don't focus so much on all the equipment that you need to get. Just pick up a bow, go out there, shoot, and have fun. That's how you're going to get better.
Yeah.
Is by enjoying the sport and participating in it, not buying equipment.
Absolutely. Cool.
What's great about it is that you can definitely get a lot out of it just by coming and showing up and having fun with it, like Joel said.
Even if you're not shooting a full setup, a full Olympic style setup, you can still have fun shooting bare bow without the bells and whistles. It's still a blast to do.
Wow. That's awesome. It seems like the club is so welcoming to welcome new people and show them exactly what they need to actually do to be good. So that's awesome.
It seems like a very interesting sport. And like, also, how many times a week do you guys meet up or like practice?
So there are 3 official club practices per week, or at least this semester there are. And most people come out to a single practice, but we have 2 officers at least at each practice to make sure everything's going correctly. And at least one of them is a coach, a certified coach. So we make sure that we have everything going as it needs to be. Joel and myself also shoot on our own without club practices. And I think we have a few other members who do occasionally.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I guess my last question right now is just besides the competition that you guys have done and the accomplishments you've done there, start comparing yourself now from when you first started start shooting arrows. How far have you guys come from the beginning? Because I know some of you have done it since you were little, growing up.
That's a down the line question. You want to start with that?
Oh boy.
Just quick, it's like, how far do you think you've come?
Miles better. I mean, when you first start out, sometimes you can't even hit the target, and
I'm sure
you get your occasional miss now and then, but miles better. I'm starting to coach more outside of school, so
that's good.
Definitely not where I expected to be when I first started.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
I bet. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, compared to when I started and I couldn't always hit, a 52-inch across target at, 20 yards, being able to hit everything roughly inside the distance of my forearm at that range is a pretty phenomenal feeling, I'm going to have to say.
Nice.
I mean, when I started shooting with Rowan University's club. I started shooting bare bow, no sight or anything, and I was very happy when I was able to hit all of my arrows on the target for the first time. But after you keep practicing, and each time you practice, you set new goals, you hit higher scores, and now I'm capable of shooting in the mid to higher 500s.
Nice.
So.
Cool. Seems like you were a natural.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Yeah.
After the break, Nick, Joel, and Tim will share more with us by showcasing their equipment, so stay with us. Welcome back. So now that we just heard about the archery club, let's take a closer look at the tools they use to get some bullseyes.
All right. So you guys want to get started?
Absolutely.
Show us what's on the table here.
So we brought a couple things with us.
Okay.
This is what a competition quiver looks like. Essentially, you've got a place for all the arrows to go. We've got a couple of different tubes. It helps just separate so you know which arrow is where. And then a couple of pockets just to hold on to some of the other items that we have or whatever you're going to be using on the line.
Wow, okay.
Go down. So this is just a basic finger sling, and essentially that goes over your fingers when you're holding the bow, so that when you shoot, you actually don't grab the bow, you literally drop it. This prevents it from hitting the ground.
Okay.
This is an arrow puller, and it helps you pull out of a target much easier, because a lot of them are made of a really heavy styrofoam, and it becomes difficult to pull them out.
Right, okay.
This is an arm guard. It goes right here on your arm, protects you. There you go. Yeah, I just holding too many things. But it goes right there on your arm, and it protects the string from hitting your arm. As you can see, I've done that a couple of times, which is loads of fun, let me tell you.
Oh, I'm sure.
Sounds painful.
And then this is a finger tab, which protects your fingers from the string, because when you're pulling 40-ish pounds, that can cut straight through your fingers. Not through, but into, and it hurts quite a bit. I'm going to hand this to Joel real quick. Put these back down.
All right.
And Tim can show you guys what a bare bow looks like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Oh, wow. Look at that guy.
Yeah.
All right,
It's
awesome.
amazing.
So this is, as Nick said, a bare bow. This is the essentially stock version of what we shoot. This is what all the new archers that come to the archery club are going to begin shooting on. As you'll see with Joel's bow later on, he has got a few more attachments that come with it, but otherwise, this is just the basic riser here, limbs, and you have a little plunger to make sure the arrows fly straight.
Wow. Okay.
Joel, if you want to pick your bow up, we can do a little bit of a comparison between the two of these.
Wow.
You kind of see
A
it.
lot bigger.
Wow.
So this bow has quite a bit more bells and whistles than bare bow. The center section of the bow is actually the same between both of them. What's different is the limbs, the sight, the stabilizer, and this piece right here is called a clicker. So what the sight allows you to do, it allows you to adjust your aiming point so that you can always aim at the center of the target. Okay. Whereas with bare bow, you don't have an aim point, so you have to go off of instincts and feel. These stabilizers, they function similarly to the way that a tightrope walker would balance across a string. So that way, you know, if you're holding a full draw, as your hand starts shaking because of the weight that you're holding back, it helps stabilize yourself and slow the movements down. I have both a long stabilizer for front to back balance, as well as 2 side stabilizers for side to side balance. What the clicker allows me to do is it allows my draw length to remain consistent, so that way the arrow speed is consistent. These limbs act similar to the way that a spring does. If you compress the spring further, it gets more strength. If I pull the limbs back further, they get more arrow speed. So the clicker allows me to have a consistent arrow speed.
Wow. Okay.
But other than that, they're pretty much similar setups, and they just both do the job in different ways.
Wow.
Yep.
And can you guys shoot the same bows out of those 2 different arrows? Or do you need different arrows for the different bows?
So arrows have to be chosen specifically for a certain bow. Not necessarily that the bow is different, but more so the strength of the limbs. So the limbs that this bare bow has right here are 26 pounds. So they're going to require an arrow that is weaker in strength so that it can flex properly to shoot accurately. Whereas these limbs are about 40 pounds, and I need a stiffer arrow so that they don't flex too much.
Absolutely.
And the reason for the flex is as the arrow shoots, it does not leave the bow completely straight. It actually flexes around the center section of the bow called the riser, and that way they don't make any contact. If they make contact, you lose accuracy.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So this all looks amazing. This is awesome.
So cool.
I guess for each of you guys, now that we know exactly what the difference between the 2 bows, what is your preference? And I guess between the 2 bows, what would you prefer?
So I shoot Olympic recurve, which is the sort of setup that Joel has there. But the bow that Tim is holding is actually my bow, the one that I shoot for Olympic recurve. All those are attachments I can put on this bow.
Okay.
But that's majoritively what I shoot.
Okay.
Wow.
I am a primary bare bow shooter. I just enjoy kind of the challenge that it presents.
Right.
And as Nick said, you know, having this kind of riser, it would allow me, if I ever chose to start going into Olympic recurve, I would have the option and ability to.
Right. Absolutely.
So as you can see with my bow, I am an Olympic recurve shooter. I like having all the attachments. The main thing being this sight. I don't like going off a feel. I like knowing exactly where I'm aiming.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. And are these 2 bows allowed to, say you had to own this bow and you own that one? Would you guys be able to compete in the same competition, or is it 2 different categories?
So competitions are all shot together. However, there are different classes and divisions. Okay. So there's male, female. There are different age groups, whether it be senior, 21 plus, master, 50 plus, things like that. Juniors. But also, him shooting bare bow, he and I will not be competing against each other because it would not be fair for somebody using this
That's what I
kind of
figured,
equipment to
yeah.
shoot against somebody without any of it.
Yeah,
So
Wow.
it keeps things fair and keeps everybody in their own classes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously for this bow, we see a whole bunch of attachments. Is there anything else that you can add to the bow, or any kind of different devices you could replace what you have on there right now to do different
Other
things?
than more expensive stuff, I have all the attachments that are really out there.
Okay.
As
Wow.
far as bare bow goes, it depends on the competition you're shooting at, but typically what you see right here is pretty much what you're going to get. A lot of competitions tell you that you are only allowed to have just your bow and the little plunger right here and the arrow rest. Other than that, you can't have any of the clickers, you can't have stabilizers. The only thing that you might be able to add are various weights called bare bow weights. That would just make sure your bow falls a little forward so you don't hit yourself in the head when you release.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. I mean, this looks amazing. Like I honestly haven't heard of you guys before until today, and I immediately want to invest more time into it. I want to see it actually play out. This is awesome.
I didn't realize how many like little things there were just like to do archery. Like I thought it was literally just like bow and arrow and you shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really, really cool that there's so many little things to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And is there any social media you guys want to share with us?
Yeah, so we have a Facebook page and a Twitter, and just at Prof Archery, P-R-O-F. And yeah, that's majoritively how you'd get a hold of us. Plus, we have our Prof link for students at Rowan who want to join.
Cool, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
This was amazing. Thank you guys so much for coming to the show.
course.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It was so awesome to see this.
This is awesome. Thank you guys so much. Coming up after the break, we got Victoria Todorova and Danny Minchell with this week's Word on the Street. Don't go away.
Did you?
Watch the Oscars? Oh, you missed a lot of speeches and dresses and suits and shenaniganry.
Hey there, did you watch the Oscars last night?
Hey, actually, I did not watch the Oscars last night.
Why not?
Well, I didn't know it was happening.
Not everyone knows about it.
So, gentlemen, did you watch the Oscars last night? I didn't get a chance. Get out, did not win Best Picture. Did you? I did not know that at all. Why do you think it didn't win Best Picture?
Maybe there was a better picture. Who knows?
Absolutely, you can have one. We love democracy.
What does that have to do with the Oscars?
Anyway.
Newsweek has compiled a list of all the foods available at the Oscars to purchase that all the bourgeois could acquire. We have some of the finest snacks in the land, some of the finest drinks in the land.
You always go orange.
Yeah, that's the color of the Oscars.
Or gold? Yellow?
Yeah, that would make more sense.
Did you guys watch the Oscars last night? No? Nope.
That's probably true. You mean to tell me the movie where a person had relations with a fish person is better with some sort of social commentary? What kind of social commentary is that? Oscars last night. Oscars so white. Am I right?
You're right.
I think
Give me a positive and a negative. Go.
I think it was the most exciting one compared to all the past years. I really enjoyed it this year. The negative was, I guess you're not letting people express their emotions, man.
For hard work.
Yeah.
They don't care about emotions anymore. Time for an Oscar throwback. Remember when Space Jam won the Oscar for Best Picture in 1996?
1996. Yeah, I do.
Michael Jordan won Best. Bugs Bunny won Best Actor. Which is 2012.
Yeah.
Did you notice George Clooney's shoes did not match on the red carpet?
I've been saying it for years. That man doesn't know colors.
Right.
And I think that a lot of his films has kind of reflected that. Stylistic. It doesn't really make sense from one end to the other end.
It got really popular again, so they figured, let's give it twice the Oscar because twice the re-release.
Okay, well that's Oscar's so white, it strikes back. Although Michael Jordan, never mind, forget that. This guy came back from the Oscars. How'd you like the event, man?
Was there any evidence of crab people?
Well, yeah, but I don't have any desire to sleep with them. That's just weird.
No.
It was the Coco one. That was okay. That was cool.
Yeah.
Oscar's not as white as you think. It was a good event.
welcome back to On the Couch. I am so glad that the word on the street this week is the Oscars, because that's actually our first hot topic for today is the Oscars.
Bring us right into it.
Did you catch the Oscars?
I didn't this year.
Yeah, I had to work. I wasn't able to catch it, but I did watch a highlight reel of what happened, and I wish I was there to watch it.
Yeah.
One of the things that stuck out to me was at the Oscars, Jordan Peele, from King and Peele, he actually won an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for Get Out, which is a movie that blew my mind. I love Get Out. It's such an awesome movie. Roger Deakins, cinematographer, finally won his first Oscar after multiple attempts for The Shape of Water, which is also, again, a great movie, which also won Best Picture. Oscars are just, there's so many other things to talk about in such a small amount of time. The Oscars are just amazing. I missed it last year. I missed it again this year. Next year, there's no excuse. I'm definitely going to be watching it for sure.
We gotta sit down and watch it.
Yes,
it's
absolutely
a priority. Yeah.
Did you catch any of the movies being nominated this year?
No, and I actually haven't seen those movies that you mentioned, but I have to get around to watching some new movies, so I'm going to add those to my list.
Absolutely.
But our next hot topic is a new place on campus called Cookie Munchers. It's actually been here since last semester. They have a new challenge. It's 10 cookies and 20 minutes. It's $20 for the challenge, and if you complete it, finish all 10 cookies, then it's free. But there's so many people that have attempted it, and no one has succeeded yet. So if you succeed, you get on the wall of Cookie Munchers.
Oh,
so that'd be really cool. Would you think you'd be able to try that?
When you first mentioned cookies, I can eat a bunch of cookies. And I saw the picture, I'm like, oh, that's a big cookie.
They're huge. They're
huge.
the size of a plate.
No, man, I don't know. I have to hate myself a lot to try that. But you live once, right? You might as well. Maybe I'll do it.
I saw
someone dared me.
I saw one kid try it, and he had a bucket next to him. He was shaking. I was like, I don't think I would be able to do this. So that's a little crazy.
Oh my gosh! And our final hot topic for today is actually about a show that Rowan University held today called Under the Hood. It's the story of Little Red Riding Hood with a twist of feminism. The story itself has multiple versions. I know you and I saw. I saw a different day than you, I believe.
Yeah, we did both see it.
Took me by surprise a lot. I went in knowing absolutely nothing other than the title, and that's it. It took me by surprise, and it was such a great surprise. I loved the entire performance. I think everyone on stage did a fantastic job. I thought the writing was excellent.
Yeah, I was really expecting more the classical Little Red Riding Hood because that's how it all started out. And as it went on, it was just the same story over and over, but everyone was changing characters. So it just became this classical story that was at a place, but in the end, it was giving a lesson on feminism and how everyone is equal. So it was kind of cool to see a classic change in their own specific way.
Absolutely, and it wasn't just all seriousness either. In the beginning, it was very serious, but over time started to become humorous and funny, and it kind of flip-flopped between the two, and I appreciated that to make sure it wasn't just so serious, just oh.
Exactly, so the characters really portrayed a good humor within the play, and I really liked that because it was through Rowan University, and I think that's great that our actors can be able to do that and convey different characters all in one play.
Absolutely.
So it was awesome. Yeah,
and there were a lot of funny moments.
It
was in a little while. I can't recite the exact moments of the play, but there was so much just laughing out loud. And people were loving it.
They
it was
were
great.
Really interacting with the audience too, because they wouldn't just be on stage. They would be throughout the audience, dancing. It was really cool.
It's such a fantastic job.
Yeah, maybe we'll hit the next play together too.
Yeah, maybe. There's one coming up soon, I believe.
Yeah, there is.
We'll check it out.
So,
Well, that's all we have for you today. I'm Tom Viola.
And I'm Emily Render. Thanks for tuning in and have a great week.